Forge, Chapter 4. I waited until he was out of sight before kicking off the tattered remains of my shoes and pulling off the dead man's boots. I had to pause after the first one, for my belly threatened again. I scolded it. The battle was too close for me to be soft. I'd take what this fellow no longer needed, then flee. The boots fit perfectly, which I took to be a good omen. My luck was finally changing. I removed the rolled blanket that was tied to the flap of the redcoat's knapsack. More good luck, for I was in dire need of a blanket. If he had food, I'd be rich beyond measure. I unbuckled the straps and opened the flap. His reserve ammunition was on the top. I filled my jacket pockets with gunpowder cartridges and musket balls. I should have run then, but I was greedy and very hungry. I dug out the tools for cleaning and oiling the musket. Those would be most helpful. A clean pair of stockings and a white linen shirt, as well as a tin box containing flints and dried moss, a drinking cup, and 2 pencils, along with papers covered in writing, and 3 maps, all wrapped in oilcloth. No food. A close by cannon roared, "Hurry!" I quick grabbed the ramrod from the leaves. I fetched my haversack and filled it with everything I'd removed so far, then pulled the last items out of the knapsack. A hinged wooden box as big as my hand, and a square black cloth wrapped around the miniature painting of a pale woman with solemn eyes. She wore a pink flower in her hair. His wife. That gave me pause. Did they have children? How long before news reached them that their father was dead? I did not have time to ponder his family. The box was chipped and 2 corners cracked on the middle. I slid open the brass latch. A compass. An expensive compass, finely crafted, with brightly colored compass rose painted under the needle to show the patch of 32 directions. My former master, Bellingham, had owned several sailing ships before the war. The tables of the library were often covered by maps and charts, and his captains called. Once a compass such as this had been used to keep the papers from fleeing up in a sharp breeze that came into the harbor. Bellingham had been amused by my curiosity and showed me how the device worked. I considered it a magical thing, for I was still a child then. This compass, however, had no magic or usefulness. The glass was broken and the needle bent. So I glanced at the body. The redcoat soldiers were not commonly equipped with compasses. This fellow was likely a surveyor or an engineer. He died because I threw a rock. I shook my head. No, that gap-toothed boy lives because I threw a rock. Hundreds of voices were shouting beyond the ravine. Drums sounded their battle call. I stood with the compass and spun around in a slow circle. The needle tried to wobble on its thin post, but was too broken to show me the way. I had to reason my way out of the situation. The battle had begun or had been north of me, for the British camp was north of the American. South was the direction I needed. South meant a path to Albany, maybe riches, maybe work and a home with a roof and friends and a girl who likes flowers. No, that's a lie. A good thief can lie to to everyone else, but never to himself. There was nothing waiting for me in Albany, nothing waiting anywhere. The shape of my life had altered when Bellingham enlisted me. The change again and changed again when I escaped prison. It shattered me when Isabel left. I turned the compass in my hand, trying to wish the needle into showing me the way out. It mocked me, refusing to budge. I had no heading. The cold wind carried the scent of gunpowder smoke down a ravine, and a strange wildness overcame me, as if a compass needle buried inside of me swung violently. I put the compass on the ground and picked up the bloody musket, ready to smash its wooden butt into the glass and finish the job of destroying it. But no. I could sell it, maybe earn enough to feed me for a few weeks. I slung the strap of the musket over my head and stored the compass in my haversack, along with the redcoat stockings and shirt. I wrapped the black cloth around the portrait and returned it to the dead man's knapsack. As I lifted my haversack, I winced from pain in my arm where the boy had struck me. He was stronger than he knew. I rubbed the sore spot. Was this really the battle that would win the war, like he said? The aimless needle inside of me spun and spun again. My heart beat to the sounds of the approaching drums. I liked the smell of gunpowder. I was not afraid to fight. My hands liked the feel of holding the musket again, and to my surprise, I felt bad about lying to the gap-toothed boy. I headed into battle.